I figured that was going to be the case. I know y'all can hear me now, but that's coming through my Mac. That's why. So that's why I would do it the other way. I'm like, that's why I would do it the other way. Okay, well, y'all can hear me now. Y'all will probably hear the guests coming on here as well. So the phone's right here. So, but I know everybody can hear me now. So I'll just mute that. Okay. So, yep, you're good. Okay, got it. All right. So, let me take my jacket off because it's getting a little warm. Okay. So back to what I was doing because I was doing something else. So, my statements are personal opinions, not proven facts. Whatever decisions or actions you take in your life, you are 100% responsible and liable for those. You can change your future, it's never set in stone. And I am not a licensed medical doctor, counselor, attorney, or law enforcement official. For legal medical advice or treatment, please consult a licensed professional. You can still ask me those kinds of questions, but you should go to a doctor or an attorney or a financial advisor first before you come to a psychic, just because you should. But you can still ask me those things. If you receive guidance or information in the live, and you can validate or you can share or clue us in on some of it because you probably may not be able to do it in the text form, just go ahead and post your connection or how you connected to the information right below. There's a post that's going to be on my Facebook, Instagram, and just right below, just post there. If you're on YouTube, you can post in the comment section just how you connected with the information or how you connected with the messages. Also, can you give me a thumbs up if you are on Facebook or YouTube, and if you are on Instagram, if you can give me hearts and share the live feed with anybody that you think might need a reading or anybody who might appreciate having a chance to come on here and ask a question as well. If you don't want to wait if you don't want to wait for me to answer your questions on the live, you can book an appointment with me. Just go to my website, fernandomarron.com. Everything is done through the site, and that's just the best way to go about that. And there's pricing options for everybody there. If you haven't already done so, sign up for my newsletter. I just put out a bunch of UFO stuff. So I did a whole podcast on UFOs and like stories and all that other stuff. So there's a lot on there, and I have a bunch of videos that I posted, so check it out because it's pretty interesting. And I actually provide pictures and video evidence of my experiences. So I'm not just like, sitting down and talking about stuff. I'm actually sharing like the evidence that I have. So check it out because it's really interesting. And you can sign up to my newsletter on my website as well, just in case you haven't done so already. Okay. All right. So let's get on board. If you get hit by someone in Facebook, or if you get hit by someone on Facebook or YouTube wanting you to like private message them, those are trolls. They are going to try to take your money. Don't if anything, report them as spam and then block them. That way the system can pick up on them, because I'm not here trying to get you guys to type to message me. I'm right here talking to you guys. I think that's it. I think that's all I need to say. So, all right, if you want to ask me about your life, be specific with your question, or I'm going to skip you. If you're not specific, asking me to just tell you something, or do I have a message from someone or whatever that's too general, you need to be specific. If you want to connect with the loved one in spirit, be specific. Who do you want me to connect to? And I'll try to connect to that specific person and see if I can get you a message or something that may validate that they're with you. Okay. I'm going to do mostly text, and then I'll bring some people on in a little bit. All right. So let's start over here with, let's go over here to this other side over here. Let's see. Okay. It's funny. Chelsea Gilmore. I was just starting to read your. Let me lower this. Oh, it doesn't. Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry. I accidentally said hi to somebody, so my bad. But I still say hi to you. But so I don't. That's okay. I was trying to control this over here, but it's not going anywhere. All right. Oh, see, you're gonna see me scrolling up. Y'all are gonna see me scrolling up and going through the messages. See, that's okay. So y'all are gonna see all my business. That's okay, whatever. Y'all can see my business. Call me out. Do whatever. I don't care. Okay, Chelsea Gilmore, back to you. I know you're like, Ferny, don't forget me. Hey, Ferny, I'm curious if my mom Tammy has any messages or wise words for me. Do you also see me getting married in July? It's interesting because I actually, before I saw that last line and you were already talking about your mom, I was already starting to feel energy around a relationship and her telling you to make sure that you stand your ground on the things that are important to you, because if you're going to start this relationship or marriage off on the right foot, you need to know who you are in this. You don't need to be compromising things that are important to you. So your mom wants you to stand by your guns. That's her advice to you. I'm asking her about the wedding. She's not going to tell me. She's not telling me, and she's not going to tell me because they don't really tell us like about our futures. They're kind of not allowed to. I am because I'm still here, so I'm like part of like I'm like the bypass. I do feel that there will be a marriage. I don't think it'll be in July, so I think it's probably going to get moved to a different date, or you might have to wait an additional 8 months to a year before it actually happens. I know that sounds like a long time, but I think there may be various things going on that may cause that to happen. But just be aware of that, okay? Um, um, Michelle G. On YouTube. Hi, Ferny. My sister Susie would like to know if she will ever find anyone. Thank you. I think that your sister can sometimes be a little picky and she's not as open or vulnerable. And I think she needs to work on that because I think she's not willing to try new things or try different things that are outside of her comfort zone when it comes to type and when it comes to activities or experiences. So I think she needs to work on that. With that being said, I do think that there is an opportunity with someone in about a year and 8 months. That person's name starts with a W, and I think she might meet that person through a neighbor. Okay, and that's an option there. Um, all right, let's see. Hey, Autumn Arnett. Can you tell me if my mom has a message for me? Yeah. So one thing. Thank you. Okay, it's interesting because she's kind of communicating it in a symbolic form. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when you think of like archery and like you take a bow and arrow and you point it at your target and then you release, you're trying to hit that target. You're trying to reach your goals. You're trying to get to the thing that you need to get to. But sometimes when we're trying as hard as we can, for some reason, things just don't align or things just don't hit what we need it to hit. And so if that keeps happening or if that becomes a consistent scenario, we need to acknowledge or be open to other options or other possibilities. It doesn't mean keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. There's nothing wrong with trying to achieve a result, but when you're trying the same thing or you're trying something over and over again and just not happening, that means you need to be open to something different or you need to open your mind to something else. I feel like your mom's trying to make that point. So I think that she is trying to acknowledge that there are some things that you may not necessarily be able to do in the way you wanted to, and that is okay. Consider alternatives or consider changing that up a bit because you may need to. Doesn't mean you won't be able to achieve that result. You just may not be able to achieve it the way you thought you would. So she's kind of giving me a little bit of that in that way. She also keeps acknowledging, thank you. She also keeps acknowledging like a red circle or a red ball or a red balloon. So I don't know if there's something significant or interesting, especially because I keep thinking of like a clown's nose, which is why I keep thinking of like a red ball. But I've seen it like a red ball, red balloon, red circle. There's something there that she's wanting to make reference to as well. There's two um, small animals. I want to say they're probably dogs because they look like dogs. So I want to say that there's two small dogs with her as well. They might be siblings or related to each other, but she's acknowledging that there's two animals up there with her as well. Okay. Marina Mary Shell, what should I consider in order to grow my business? Advertising and networking. You need to connect with more people and you need to advertise more. It's really basic, but I feel like that will help you tremendously. Hey, Brenda. I love you too, sweetheart. Um, Maria Paula Goya. Hey, Fernie, any messages from for me, from my mom or my friend Atilo? And do you think I am being scammed? I think there's something iffy about the thing that you're asking about, that you're being scammed about, I think there's something iffy and I don't trust it. So it's your decision. It's your, how you want to handle that. But I would just say is keep your eyes open and don't overly commit or don't do more than you need to validate or to verify that that's real. But I'm not feeling confident. I don't trust it. So I don't trust it. As far as a message from your mom or your friend is concerned, I do think I want to connect with a friend Attilo. Um, I'm hearing music and I'm seeing. Thank you. I don't know if someone played a musical thing for them or if there was an honorary musical like it almost feels like it's an honorary musical. It's reminiscent, like okay, when you think of someone and sometimes they're passed, sometimes people will play music at someone's passing or funeral, or sometimes people will do something musically. I kind of feel this is a little different than that. This might not be that kind of thing. This might be like I'm playing music loud with my radio or something for this person, or like they were honored in some sort of musical way. There's something there that I want to like tie into the friend because that's what they're showing me. They're also referencing the number 11. So we are in November, so the 11th might be significant. They're also acknowledging thank you. They're doing this. So there might be something that has to do with being around the neck, or there's a necklace that's connected as well. But there's a reference here. So that's what I'm being shown. Okay. Joanne Ceruto. Hi, I hope you choose me with a message for me from my mom. I tried several times and nothing, please. Yes, your mom. So immediately she is, she's funny because she's repeating her name. So I don't know if there's another person with mom's name in the family or there's, she was named after someone, but there's a reference because she's showing me a duplicate of her name. So it's funny because she's not showing me their name. She's just showing me a duplicate of a name. So I feel like that would just, it's kind of hard to say, like, what am I seeing? And then I'm seeing a duplicate of a name, but I'm not actually seeing the name. I don't know. That's just how it shows up in my head. She is acknowledging thank you. She is referencing, I'm seeing Princess Diana for some reason. There might be a connection to the name D or Diana, or a D name similar to that that's kind of shorter because she's showing me that. She also keeps referencing thank you. She's showing me that something that reminds me of like a bracelet or that would go around the wrist that would be significant. She also keeps acknowledging thank you. She also keeps acknowledging I feel like I want to wrap something around myself, but I don't feel like it's a piece. I don't feel like it's a shirt or clothing. I feel like it might, and it doesn't feel like a blanket either, but it does feel like it's maybe like a shawl or a scarf. So I don't know if you have a shawl or a scarf that is connected to mom, but I feel like I'm wrapping something around myself in this way. You might have smelt her, especially in the living room area or near the like seating area or couches, because I'm seeing that as well. She also keeps acknowledging flowers, like spring flowers. So I don't know if you have planted or you are a bit of a planter and there's a special connection with spring flowers and mom, or she's just acknowledging herself with the connection with the spring flowers and bringing that up as well. She also talks about the thank you. She's also bringing me the name bo like Bob or Bobby, or it's like a bo like Bob or Bobby. There's a reference to that name as well. I don't know if that person's connected to the family or if that's somebody else that is trying to be made, that I'm trying to be made aware of, but there's a reference to this. I also keep seeing California for some reason, so I don't know if there's going to be a trip soon to California for you or you just came back, or there's a reference with this bo or Bobby name that may be connected to California. Okay, mom loves you, she's with you, she is okay. She's also acknowledging thank you. She's doing this, which means may not have gotten a chance to say goodbye, or she just couldn't express everything she needed to, but she says that she loves you and that she's with you. Okay. Okay, let's go over here. Let's see. Gotta go through all the. Y'all are seeing me going through everything, right? Y'all are like seeing like look at all these, look at all these, and I don't go in any particular order. I just bounce around, just because I can't go like from start to finish. It would never happen. Like it would never occur. So, okay, let's going through. Okay. Okay. Lisa Nelson. Hey, Lisa. 694. Is John King dead or alive? He was injured in another country. Do you see marriage and kids for me? I would say alive. I'm not feeling when someone's passed, there's a lot of communication about memories. and a lot of communication about like there's a lot of stuff that you feel that isn't so much focused on like it's kind of hard to describe because it's such a subtle difference between when I'm talking to someone and they're deceased or when I'm tuning into someone but they're still alive. When someone is still alive, there's a lower vibratory vibe that has to do with suffering that doesn't exist with the people who are in spirit. In other words, people who are in spirit, they can talk about stuff, they can reminisce, they can go back and discuss things, but there isn't a feeling of I'm still suffering. People who are alive, there's a feeling of I'm still suffering, but I'm also thinking this or I'm also feeling this way. So there's a huge distinction there. Spirits don't have that with them. So and it's subtle, but it's a big difference between the two, which is why that gives me an indicator of whether someone's alive or not. Because when I ask myself, is someone passed or not? I'm not seeing, if someone's passed, I'm not just immediately seeing like a dead body. Like I have to tune into the energy of the individual. And then from that, I gauge whether I believe that they're passed or not. Because I'm still feeling like I'm like there's a feeling of suffering or there's a feeling of like life, like life. I'm assuming that he's alive. So to answer your question, Lisa, I would say that he might be alive. Also, do you see marriage and kids for me? You might have an opportunity for marriage in about 3 years, but that may be with someone that you don't currently know or someone that you're involved with yet. Person's name starts with a G or a J, but I want to lean on G. And yes to kids too. Um, And by the way, guys, I try to be fair. So if you see me scrolling up and passing your name, it's not because I'm not. It's because I'm choosing to skip you. It's just because if I remember that I've read for you before, I try to say, okay, well, it's I feel like it's not been that long, and so I try to like give people who haven't had readings more of a chance to get a reading. That's why. So just so y'all know, in case. But it's not because I'm not going to choose you. And keep trying to put your question because I may feel that tug and come back to the question if I see it again. Um, Vantana, hey Ferny, do you see me getting a job? A job, yeah, getting a new job soon, or anything about me going back to school? As far as a new job, I do think that there is going to be a new job in about 4 months. You might hear about it, and you may actually get into that job through a friend who has already got that job or who knows about the job. But I feel like in about 4 months, going back to school, you'll consider it. I don't think you're going to go back to school right now. You might try to go back to school in about I want to say this is March or April of 2022. So it's a while from now. Okay. Um, uh, Anushmita Hatatari Charya. I hope I said that correctly. If I didn't, please excuse me. I am trying to find a job. Can you see me getting anything sooner? I feel like it's going to take about 2.5 months before you find something, and it may not even be 100% what you want. But I think you'll do it anyways because you're just going to need to get a job, a different job or a job. I do think that there will be that may come. When is that coming? I want to say this might be the first of the year. So I want to say this is around January. Okay. Ashley Ortega, 16. Hey, Fernie, my friend's birthday was today and I went to visit her grave. Does she see me? Any messages from my spirit guides and their names? Thanks. Love that color on you. Thank you. I try to keep it simple just because I don't want to think about what I have to wear. This is why I always wear white because I have tons of those. But sometimes like I feel like having a little bit of a change and then I mix it up. So Ashley, to answer your question, your friend knows that you visited her. She keeps acknowledging thank you. I feel like I'm hearing music. So I don't know if you played music while you were there, or you listened to a video, or listened to something, or watched something that had music playing in the background. But there's a reference to this because she's acknowledging that. She also keeps referencing, thank you, happy birthday. So it's her, yeah, friend's birthday was today. So I know you're saying it's her birthday, but she's also acknowledging another birthday soon. So I don't know if there's another birthday within a few weeks, but there's a reference to another birthday at this time, around this time as well. So she might be trying to acknowledge that person or reference that as well. She also talks about the two younger girls. I don't know if she has two younger sisters or there's two younger daughters, either for you or for her, but she's almost referencing or acknowledging that. She's also acknowledging, thank you. She's also making me feel, she's funny. She's like, bitch. Like she's like acting funny, so she's almost like coming across that way. She feels good. She says she looks so good. She said, you just don't even know how easy it is to look so good there. So she's almost making fun of that. And she says, you shouldn't do nothing to your body. She says, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. So she's wanting to make you feel better about yourself. Okay. Yeah. She says you shouldn't have to work so hard for a man or for someone. Um, Haley M. Griffin. Hi, Ferny. I'm trying to decide what to do career wise. Do you see anything specific pertaining to that? Yeah, I think it's going to have something to do. I think it's going to have something to do, especially because I keep seeing stars in the sky, and I'm trying to figure out why I'm seeing that. It might have something to do with an organization or a company that either deals with outer space, with space stuff going up and down, or with a company that is contracted to do that. So there's something like that that I feel you'll go into. I also feel that it's going to have more to do with like a project coordinating type of role or path. You might have to build your way up to that position or that role, but I feel like it's going to have something to do with that. Okay. Smashly 381. Hey Fernie, do you have anything for me regarding my spirit guides? You know what's interesting is like sometimes people don't realize where some of the names that they get for their kids come from, and it turns out that sometimes we tend to name our children after our guides because the name's in our head. Why would the name be in our head? That's why. So I feel like you might end up naming one of your children after a spirit guide. I also think that you. Thank you. You need to work on not trying to be perfect or trying to make everyone like you or just get on everybody's good graces. The reason why there's a past life trauma associated with this. I know this isn't about the guide, but the guide's like wanting me to talk about this. Um, there's a past life trauma that's connected to this where you you were really raunchy and really like in one of your past lives, and in that past life because people didn't like you or because you were so like you know um raunchy is not the right word. There's another word that I want to say. So raw. Let's put just, but it's so raw and just like it's almost like Roseanne Barr. When you think of like Roseanne Barr, like some people like her, some people hate her. Like it just depends on the person. But it's almost like there was a personality like that, where it's very polarizing for people. And you were this person that like nobody liked, but you also had a lot of boyfriends in the village or in the town, and you tended to enjoy their company, even though you didn't really settle down yourself. You just did your own thing, and people were always accusing you of all kinds of stuff. At some point during the height of a plague, you actually were accused of witchcraft and that you were responsible for people getting sick. So they pretty much like took you out. They like pretty much like killed you. I don't think you were burned at the stake, so it wasn't that. That may have been another lifetime. But I do think that that you were kind of killed, and you might have even been hung. Thank you, hung. So you were hung. And so two things about this: if you don't like something tight around your neck, that's probably why. Secondly, in this lifetime, you're going to struggle with that, where sometimes you may feel like you need to really get people's like appreciation or get them to love you or be in love with you or whatever, and you might try so hard that it's going to go against the nature of who you are at your core, which is someone who it doesn't matter. So there's that inner conflict that will take place, to the point where some people may even say sometimes they may think you're bipolar or you have like split personality disorder. But I think it's just those two sides of yourself just kind of going back and forth. You need to let yourself be. You just need to let yourself be. Stop trying to make everybody like you and just not care too much about everybody else's opinion, because it is you're not here to be everybody's best friend. You're just here to be an acceptable version of yourself to yourself, so that you know that you're not intentionally going against everybody, which is what you did in that past life. You just didn't give a damn about anybody. You're just like, yeah, very big blunt. This life, you're supposed to find a balance, and I think you need to work on that. Okay. I know that was like a whole like speech, but that's what I felt. I felt the need to say that. Um, um, Mehi 84. My mother-in-law Penny is visiting, and I'd like to show her how talented you are. Do you have any messages for her? Prove yourself, Fernie. Prove yourself by telling her something for herself. There's four females around her in spirit. There is a mother figure above her. If this is not her mother, this is like an aunt or someone that mothered her, but it could also be a stepmother. But there's a mother figure above her who is wanting to be acknowledged or wanting to say hello. She also, thank you. I don't know if there's a connection also to the name Travis or Trevor, Travis. There's like a name connection that might tie into all of that. Also, there's an old boyfriend or someone that she may have been involved with a long time ago who might have passed and is just wanting to say hello to her. And it's the person who was obsessed with their vehicle or obsessed with like the style of vehicle or something like that, even though it may not have been the most impressive vehicle, but it's this person that had like a thing with the vehicle. Just wanted to say hello to her as well. So pass that on. Also, her um, birds are connected to her father or her grandfather, so she might be connecting to that around that time as well. Also, the 17th is also connected. So the number 17, whether it's January 7th or the 17th of a month. Okay. Give her all that. See if she connects with any of it. If it doesn't impress her, it doesn't impress her. So it is what it is. Some people are never like, it's interesting because some people, even though I'm the same way, like I'm like, oh, I want to, some people, no matter how hard you try, like you just can never like, you're never going to make them happy. And that's actually been a lesson for me this week because this week I had like two kind of like clashes with a couple of people or a couple of clients that I had to kind of stand my ground because it's like, sorry, like it is what it is. There's one client, I'll give you an example. For those of you who are wanting to be psychics or wanting to be professionals, this is what you have to deal with in the psychic industry. I had a client last week where she had a 15-minute session. She asked me some questions. I answered them for her, and that was it. And I always send people their like recordings and everything like that. Now, if you're asking me about stuff in the future, you're probably not going to know whether it's true or not until it actually happens, which is why you have to wait. But anyways, she didn't agree with some of the things that I told her, even though I'm like I don't have an invested interest in your life. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing, sweetheart. But she didn't agree with what I said because she doesn't see that that's how that's possible. I cannot tell you how often I have had a client come back and tell me, Fernie, when you were telling me this and that, I thought you were crazy. I thought you were a nut job. I thought that you were totally off. There's no way that's going to happen. That's not even in the realm of possibility for what I'm going through or for what's happening in my life. And then, lo and behold, fast forward a year, maybe two, they come back and they're like, so I totally didn't think that was going to happen. It happened. And so I'm totally, so she didn't agree with my assessment, which is fine. You don't have to agree with what I have to say. If you have a time and schedule with me, I'm going to tell you what I see, whether you want to hear it or not, whether you agree with it or not. I'm not trying to be cruel. I'm just telling you, this is what you're paying me for, to tune in and to tell you exactly what I'm seeing, not to tell you what you agree with. But she didn't agree with that. And so she was like, well, I think that you're a fraud and you're a scam and, I want my money back. I want a refund. Of course, I don't deal with her. Like my assistant was dealing with her. And my assistant was like, do we do a refund? I'm like, no, she made the appointment. She agreed. There's a disclosure there. It says, quote, 15-minute sessions, you're not eligible for a refund. If you have a 30-minute session or if you have another type of session and within the first 10 minutes, if you don't feel a connection or you just don't want to do it, just tell me. I'm not going to take it personally. We can end the session there. I will give you a full refund, no questions asked, because I don't want you to keep going through something you're not really enjoying or appreciating. But if it's like a 15-minute session, like 10 minutes is pretty much the session. So no, I'm sorry, but I spent 15 minutes talking to you, dealing with your crap and hearing you say what you needed to say. I gave you my time. I gave you my energy. You're not paying me for the accuracy or for the information. You're paying me for my time. Whether it's going to come true or not, that's left to be seen, but that is what it is. Like, that's just the business of it. So sorry, you're just going to have to like go and put a negative review online if you want to. If you don't agree with it, put a negative review. I'm going to end up banning you from making an appointment with me anyways, because I don't need to deal with that bullshit, right? And most people are smart enough that they will just like, well, I don't know if it's going to happen or not, and I don't agree with what he said, but let me wait, right? Let me wait, and then they'll figure it out. But when you like just make a decision like that, that's on you. And you sorry, but you knew what you were getting into when you made the appointment. You knew what you agreed to. And she's like, well, I'm going to, I'm gonna like, claim it with my credit card, or I'm gonna like file the claim with the Better Business Bureau. I'm like, go ahead, it's fine. You can put all the bad reviews you want to put on there. You can go to the Better Business Bureau, which is a sham in itself, because the whole thing with the Better Business Bureau is people buying into that sponsorship thing with them. But anyways, no, you do whatever you want. You can go off. You can say my name, scream it from the tops of the mountains. Ferny's a fraud. He's a fake. It's whatever you want to say, whatever you feel the need to get out of your system. Get it out of your system. But when you come back in a year, like I have had clients before come back when they shot themselves in the foot by the way that they talked to me or the way that they treated me, you're not going to get a chance to get a reading. So that's why I'm like, maybe you should wait, and then you can do a review or something. But that's the stuff that you deal with when you're a psychic, and for the most part, most of my clients are great. I actually don't deal with that kind of stuff at all. But whenever something happens, like if I have to deal with a difficult person or a difficult client, it tends to happen all in the same week, which is law of attraction. It's all like, okay, this is going to happen today. It's all going to happen right at the same time. And so that tends to be the case. So that happened this week, and there was another thing as well. But that's the life of a psychic medium, guys. But and it's not like I'm not being transparent. I tell everybody, look, this is what you're buying, so make sure you know what you're buying, because I don't need to be hearing you crying afterwards that I did this or I did that, because I did no such a thing. Did no such a thing. I know I had to go into a little rant. I've been wanting to like let that out, and like no one even though I have good friends who are psychics and mediums, we all know this. I don't ever go complaining to people or like venting, but I just needed to get it out right now because y'all are all listening, and I'm like, I got it, like I'm just gonna express it because I need to get it out of myself, out of my system. Okay, so all I took was my barbell. Your question is too general, so you need to be more specific so I know what specifically you're asking, because a whole life is literally a whole life, and I don't have the attention span to sit here and like try to figure out what the hell you're asking me about. So be more specific, and then I'll try to see if I can get you a little while. Beth Ross, hey Ferny, how did you get to be so darn handsome? By being an asshole. That's what I got. That's how I got to be so handsome. But thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you. That makes me feel nice. Okay. Cheetah Ban. You're not asking about a specific person, so I'm just going to tell you what I'm getting. Hi, Ferny. Any messages for my loved ones that have passed recently? There is a baby in spirit that was miscarried, lost, or terminated. So I don't know if you lost a child or there's a child that recently passed, but that's the first thing that I'm seeing. So there's FYI, the soul of this child is in spirit. There's also a female who would have been connected to your school. I want to say this probably is a younger person, because I feel like I want to go to like the level of like someone that I would have hung out with or I would have been like around. There's a female that you would have been connected to school who was saying hello. She did pass suddenly or unexpectedly, but it was a physical issue or physical condition. So it would have been like something like a disease or something like that. But I feel she's just wanting to say hello. She also keeps acknowledging thank you. Something about, I don't know if there's like there's Dukes or Deuce or Dukes. I almost want to say Deuce or Dukes. Like I want to say something like that. Like I know my partner sister, whenever she's like trying to say goodbye or whatever, she's like Deuce. Like that. It feels like that. So there's something like that may be connected to her. Okay. Let's bring somebody on, because I think I've been kind of lollygagging long enough. Let's go over here. Let's do Jamie. Let's see Jamie's first in line. So let's do that. Let's see. Let's see if Jamie will jump on. Jamie's also intuitive, apparently. So let's see. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? Oh, you're eating. You're like, ah.
I just randomly got a little smoothie on my thumb.
You're fine. You're fine. What did you want to ask me about?
So I can ask prediction questions, yes?
You can ask whatever you want to ask.
Yeah, I was wondering if you had a hint on when I will be moving from my current place to my next home, or when I will find my new home?
Yeah, it'll be in February of 2020, as you were in 2021, 22, 22. So February of 2022 is when you'll start making those changes or when you'll start making those adjustments. You might try to do it next year. I don't think it's going to happen next year. I just feel like there's just too much that's going to be going on. And I think if anything, you're just going to try to maintain as much stability as you can next year. But when you get into 2022, it's a whole different ballgame. And part of the reason why I think you're going to do it in the first part of that year is because there's a nice peak or a nice boost financially for you at that time, which is going to make it so much easier and may actually give you a chance to get something that you would have really liked but didn't think you were going to be able to afford.
Okay. And do you see me staying put until then?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Now, I am seeing someone else staying in your space. Does your space have 2 bedrooms or an extra bedroom?
No, I live in like a small little loft.
Okay. Here's what's interesting. At some point, you might have somebody else in your space. That could become 2 separate things. Immediately, my initial impression would be like, oh, well, maybe someone's just going to room and just help out with the financial stuff, and that may make it easier. But it's also possible you may just take a little bit of time away, and someone may sublet your space while you're gone. But I'm still not seeing like a major, like complete rechanging of your space until you in your living situation until that early part of 2022.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, are you thinking about doing it's funny, I want to call it this way. By default, you are a teacher. So you're here to teach. You're here to show everybody else what you know and what you understand. I do think that you have a significant opportunity to express this in some sort of artistic fashion, but in book form. So in other words, it's like putting art on book, but I don't know if this is to do with like visual aids or like oracle decks or cards, but there's something there on a book form that I'm seeing. But it's almost like expressing or sharing or helping others understand certain things. So it's kind of like a how-to thing, but it's really easy and streamlined so that it's not overly complicated. So there's something there that you might decide to do or want to get into. I want to say this is probably going to come up next August because you might collaborate with somebody else to do part of this. So there would be 2 of you working on this at the same time. So by next August, 2021.
Okay, good. And are you saying there is a visual component to it? Or
yes. Yeah, there's a visual component to it. So because I feel like I'm opening a book, but it's not just words. There's a lot of it's almost like symbolism and pictures. And it feels like I'm breaking down symbols or I'm breaking down the pictures to make it easy to understand. But so there's these visual aids, but it's also there's a book version of this. So I'm seeing this in kind of a book form. But it's a collab. It's a collab between you and another person who also has similar interests or similar somebody you meet in February or March.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, that is, you are describing, work that, like, content that kind of comes through me around, like, I do get kind of, like, systems and how to break things down.
Yeah.
So that definitely feels like it's on, it's on track.
Yeah. Well, you like to overcomplicate everything, but in the process of overcomplicating it, you break it up into pieces and then you actually embrace the pieces. It's pretty much what you'll be doing with this project or with this book. So it's basically helping people by breaking something apart and then piecing it, like describing or talking about it in pieces. And then that way they can kind of get a different view or different perspective of whatever this is you'll be working on.
Okay, great.
Okay.
All right.
All right, sweetheart. You take care of yourself.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so let's go over to, y'all can see all my stuff. Y'all can see all my stuff. Look at all these people waiting. I'm just like bouncing around, y'all. So I'm trying to like, I'm trying to pick someone, and so I'm gonna bounce around for a moment. Bounce around for a moment. Let's go to Nadia. Let's see. Hey, Samantha, I just see you. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, sweetheart. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Awesome. What do you want to ask me?
I want to ask about my cousin who recently passed away. And of course, he's left us
let
a
me
little lost.
Yeah, let me see what he says because I want to tune into his energy. First of all, he is pointing to himself, so immediately he's acknowledging that he either contributed to his own passing or caused his own passing. Do y'all suspect that he may have inadvertently taken his own life?
Not necessarily,
Okay, here's the thing. I feel accidental. So the closest thing I would say is this would be like an accidental something, like an accidental overdose or an accidental like by being reckless or not being careful, I put myself in the situation and this happened. But it feels like it's a direct impact because like if I'm going to just be out doing something reckless, that's one thing. But if I'm acting directly and then that leads to it, that's the way he's making me feel. So he's acknowledging that. He also keeps pushing my face up or my head up. Do you know there was any impact or effect on his because he's doing this as well. So he's acknowledging that. He also keeps thank you. Is there a Christian or Christopher name or Chris name connection to him? Like a friend?
there might be.
Okay. If there's a Chris name, he probably is just trying to acknowledge his friend or make reference to his friend. He also thank you. Do you know if he was on anything or he had been taking something or he was on any substances when he passed?
Not sure. We haven't received anything.
Okay, I feel like he might have not been 100% himself or he was like altered because I feel like something's altering my behavior, but something might be in my system because he's making me feel this way. What's interesting about this is it doesn't, that's weird. Whenever someone starts acting out of character or starts behaving in a way that is just really weird, most of the time we want to assume that it's drugs or something that they're on, and that's what I immediately was thinking. But I kind of feel like there might actually been a break or something that happened in his brain, and he started to act out of character because something went awry in his brain, and so that may be why he didn't feel like himself or he felt a bit like off and he wasn't like himself because he's making me feel this way. But I will say that the way he's making me feel is when this happened, he was not himself. So it was not like I'm going to do this to myself today. It's not that kind of even awareness for him. It's more like I'm going to behave this way. It doesn't make sense. I don't know why I'm being this way. And then in the process of all this happening, that's when this occurs. And then he's doing this. So he's referencing that. He also keeps referencing, thank you, the number 13. Do you know if the 13th of a month or January 3rd is connected?
Not necessarily.
Okay, that's okay. I'll leave that with you, but he's referencing that 13th or that January 3rd date. So if it's the 13th of a month, any month, or January 3rd. He also keeps referencing thank you. Do you know if, did someone have to identify him?
Yes.
Okay, because he's apologizing to the person who had to identify him because he didn't want them to have to see him in that way. So he's apologizing to that person. He also says that there was there also physical damage to his body or physical impact to his body because he's showing me something physical, right? I feel like I want to do this. Like I want to do this as well. So it's almost like I feel like something here and like kind of going inwards. Do you know if there was any effect on this part of his body as well?
They're not completely sure. Just because everything is delayed right now, like his final report hasn't been released.
Okay, so if they describe or if they talk about something, I don't want to call it penetrating, but that's the closest word I can come up with, where something's dug in because he's doing this to me as well, almost like this pressure, this thing here as well, because he's making me feel this way. He is okay. He is blaming himself though. So he's acknowledging that he is blaming himself and he's taking responsibility for his own passing. But I don't feel like this was intentional suicide or anything like that. This was more like accidental or this was like incidental where he was being reckless and it caused it. Okay. There's a female there as well who is connected. I want to say that she's on the grandmother level. Is his grandmother or your grandmother passed?
No. No.
Okay.
There is somebody older that's passed.
Who is there a Sylvia connection or SY or SI name? There's the name. There's another. No, there's a female. There's a Sylvia or Celia or it could be Selena, but it's almost like Celia or Sylvia type name. If it's not an S, it would be a C. But there's a name like that he's trying to tell me that there's an older person there, and it comes across above, so it would be on the level of grandma. So you might need to check with your grandmother or check and see if there's a connection to a female there. She would have had she had an embolism. This female. So there was an embolism. Okay, so you might need to look into that. But he's fine. He's okay. Again, he's apologizing to the person who had to identify him. Okay.
Does he mention or say anything that I keep having this feeling of him trying to tell me that there's something I need to do or how I'm moving forward with the things that are happening?
What he's talking about to me it's not about you directly or you personally. Are you asking about like the situation around him with dealing with all of that?
Yeah.
Okay, because he's not talking about your life. He's talking about like his whole situation and stuff. What I would say is there may need to be some sort of charge or some sort of like having to push someone to get them to agree to some things because he's making me feel like someone's not going to agree to something unless they're pushed back into a corner. So there might be someone that's connected to the situation. It might be another male actually, where they have to be backed or pushed into a corner to be able to agree to signing off on something. Okay, so there might be I would say that is either a male relative or a person that's directly involved with that to be able to sign off on something.
Has he been giving anybody any signs lately?
Um, birds, doves, birds and doves. He's speaking with birds and doves. Yeah. Okay. All right, sweetheart.
Thank
Go
you
back.
so much.
You're welcome. Go back over the recording and remember what I said because you're going to need to ask some people so they can validate that. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye bye. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Let's go to Marlene. Oh, I'll come back to you, Samantha. I'll come back to you. Hello, Marlene. Hi. How you doing, sweetheart? How you doing, sweetheart?
Okay.
Oh, good, good. What did you want to ask me?
Do you have any messages for my brother?
Sure. For your brother?
From
From your brother. Got it. Okay, got it. So first of all, he keeps acknowledging the number 2. Do you know if February or the second of a month is connected? Because he's acknowledging that too. He also keeps talking about thank you. Is there a shirt with his name on it, or did y'all make shirts for him because he's acknowledging a shirt with a name? Okay, because he's got it. He's referencing that. He also keeps talking about the picture of him either on the bridge or the picture of him like on some sort of an edge. Do you know what he's talking about? Okay.
Yeah.
Got it, because he's acknowledging that as well. He also keeps talking about thank you. Is there did he consider himself a prince or like he was the prince? Because he's almost like acting like he's everything, and I'm like, okay, you're really in love with yourself. So he's just
my
like,
mom calls him that's his prince. That's
okay,
her prince.
because he's acknowledging himself as the prince, so he's referencing that. He also is referencing I don't know. That's because he's talking about he brought up your mom now because he's bringing up your mom, but he's also talking about the bathtub. Does she have a bigger tub or like a big like tub where you sit in and you soak in? Not like the regular bathtubs, but like the bigger tubs or like those jacuzzi tubs.
Well, I used to, but we're getting it remodeled.
Okay, because he's acknowledging the changes or the things with the tub, and so he's seeing what's going on with this tub thing. So he's referencing that. He's also laughing because. Are y'all having disagreements about the matching tiles or the matching color schemes? Because he's acknowledging seeing y'all arguing or not being on the same page.
Well, us and the contractor, I'm like, come on, hurry up. But
okay, because he's acknowledging the color schemes. Be careful about if they get the. I don't know if they've already gotten all of the tiling or all of the stuff, but there may be some issues, and they may try to like get it past y'all and get a different tile in that's not the same exact model or make. Keep an eye on them because they may like sneak that in and say, "Oh, it's just and you want to."
I believe that, and that's why it's taking so long.
Got it. So there's a reference there. He also keeps. Thank you. He's doing this. Do y'all have a necklace or something that's worn around the neck that's connected to him? Do y'all was he cremated?
No.
Okay. Do you know there's remains or there's like something that I feel like is almost. It's like a copy. I don't know how I want to describe this. It's like a copy or a duplicate, and there's a necklace.
My mom has a necklace that she was given with like something of him.
Oh, got it. Okay. So he's got it. Because I'm like, what is he talking about? He's talking about like a duplicate of something that he is, or his duplicate in the necklace. So there's a reference there. He's acknowledging that. He also talks about the ring. Have you been married or gotten married since his passing?
No, I've been married.
Okay. He's referencing a ring. Do you know if someone's engaged or someone's about to get engaged?
My sister, she's engaged.
That's it. He's just acknowledging, aware of the engagement, and to let her know that he knows. He also says that dress is not going to fit. So he's messing with her, and he's like, the dress isn't going to fit. So he's almost like he's getting on her.
It got postponed, so
Okay.
I
So
gotta
just,
stay
yeah.
away from the tortillas.
Stay away from it, yeah, because he's acknowledging that as well. He also, thank you. There's a baby. There's a picture of y'all when you were kids, and one of y'all has a bottle in your mouth. He's just acknowledging this picture of that.
Okay.
Okay, he's fine. He's okay. He says he's enjoying himself. He also says that he is more muscular now, or he's gotten bigger. So I don't know if he was
He
already
used
trying to do that, but
he had wanted to like be buffer. He would work out and stuff.
yeah, he says that's him. Yeah.
What kind of signs does he send me? Because I dreamt about him last night, and I literally woke up crying, and my daughter was like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" So I've had a rough day.
Yeah, so, I get it. Yeah.
What I know, I have a tension headache now. What kind of signs does he send me?
So there's a couple of things that he does. One is he does send butterflies. So butterflies are going to be a common sign for him. But there will be almost like the prettiest butterflies you could ever think of that are not in the area that they usually are in. So you might see butterflies that are never around that way. That's connected to him. He also, thank you. He honks the horn. I don't know if there was a weird thing where the alarm went off and started honking, or there was a horn honking, but he honks the horn of a vehicle. That's a pretty loud sign. So he's acknowledging the honking of a horn of a vehicle, or the pito. But there's a horn or a pito thing that he's making a reference to as being a sign from him as well. Okay. The dream, he was just trying to tell you that he was with you and that he's okay, but that he loves you. And I think you just got so emotional in the dream because it's been such a while, and you just felt that connection. You felt him, which is why you woke up and you were so emotional. But he's fine. He's okay.
Okay. Tell him that I love him. And do you see him with me?
Do I see him with you?
Yeah, or do you see him around me?
I don't see them. Yeah, I don't. I wish I could see them. I don't see them. I see them in my head. So when they're communicating, I'm seeing them in my mind as a version of what it would be if I saw it. I don't actually see them in physical. I've only seen a spirit once in my life. If being a medium, that's really messed up. But I've only seen a spirit once in my life, and we got it on picture. So yeah, we got it on pictures right there. It's proof. I don't have to say every time I say something or I give a story, I'm like, I got a picture, I got proof. So I got the receipts. But yeah, he's with you, sweetheart. He's with you.
Thank you, Ferny.
You're welcome.
I'll see you in March because I have a session.
Oh, cool. All right. I hope don't remind me about this because I'm pretty sure I'll forget anyways. But okay. All right, sweetheart. Okay. Take care. Bye bye. All right, guys. Is it 9:41? Okay, it says 9:41 on my phone. I'm like, why does it say 9:41? Why does it say 9:41? I'm like 7:03 over here. So what the hell is that about? Okay, so I'm gonna go with one more. Okay, guys. Actually, here. I'm gonna answer 2 or 3 of yours. Here, Samantha, because thank you, Samantha. What's the question, sweetheart? Let me see if I can see you, because I know she's like, oh, look, I'm supposed to be selected. I'll come back to you, sweetheart. I'm going to try to come back. Let me see if I can get Samantha on here because I want to connect with Samantha really quickly. I promised her I would because she reached out at the wrong time last week, and I said I was going to look out for her name. There you are, Samantha. I'm going to bring you on, sweetheart. You don't want to be on camera? Just point the phone at a space that you don't care about. but let's see if I can get you. Oh, she declined. Okay, that's all right. That's all right, Samantha. No worries. I'm going to look for your question in a minute, but let me go over to Ileana because I was going to bring her on, and now I've got to because I accidentally clicked her. Okay, Ileana, are you gonna come on either? Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. All right. Here. Now you. Let's go live. Let's go live. Let's see if I can get her on here. Now I'm just like picking anybody at this point because. Hello. You're like, oh my god.
I'm so excited.
I see.
I look a mess.
Say, no, you're fine. You're fine. You know what? I prefer people like just be in their element just because life is too tough to want to like always do it up, So it's just like, yeah. What did you want to ask me?
Oh my gosh. I just want to know if there's any messages from my grandparents.
Do you have two grandmothers in spirit?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to go with the grandmothers first because I'm seeing two grandmothers. So, do you know, thank you. Do you know if one of the grandmothers, if she was having difficulty walking around, or her hip had cracked or broken because she's acknowledging something about the difficulty and pressure in her hips, and then difficulty with moving around or walking, and that it was getting to be a bit of a ordeal for her. Okay. She also keeps acknowledging. Thank you. She is referencing the number 12. So, do you know if December or the 12th is also connected?
December.
Okay, because she's acknowledging that number. She also keeps talking. Thank you. Is there a Harvey or Harry or Harold name connection? Har, and that's where I'm stuck at. It's because I'm seeing the HAR part. I'm just not getting the last part of it clearly. There's an HAR connection. It's someone that's in spirit that's also passed away. So you might need to check around and you might need to ask people. But there's an HAR. I want to say it's a male because I feel like I'm seeing a male as well. She also keeps, thank you. She also keeps acknowledging. Could they not get her blood pressure right? Because she keeps talking about her blood pressure dropping or her blood pressure not staying consistent, and it kept dropping and dropping and dropping. Do you know they actually gave her an infusion or they were trying to give her blood because she's acknowledging her
I'm not sure because it was in 2010.
Oh, it's a while ago. Okay, that's okay. I'll leave that with you and you can hopefully look into it. She also keeps referencing, she's showing me a big old flower, and I feel like I'm looking at an artwork flower. Do you know if there's something that's like a picture or an artwork that has to do with grandma? Here's the way I'm wanting to relate to this. My mom always, she had this picture, and it's like a common picture that you find in most Hispanic households, where it's like the bull, like the bullfighter and the bull coming through, and that's like a common picture that tends to be in a lot of Hispanic houses. Is there a picture that I would say is pretty common that has to do with like a big flower or a big sunflower that's connected to grandma?
I'm not sure. I'll ask my dad because it sounds like you're describing his mom.
Okay, because there's a reference to this like flower thing or whatever, because she's acknowledging that because they're both coming through. They're talking over each other, so they're both going to be like because they both came in together. That tends to happen. They make me crazy when they do that. But I'm like I'm just going to tell you what I'm telling you. The one with the picture, the one because let me stick with her for a second because she's. I keep feeling like my lungs are filled with stuff. Do you know if one of them was a heavy smoker or a smoker? Because I'm smelling like, and I'm seeing it. So when you smell smoke out of nowhere, that's that grandmother. So just FYI with her. The other one is interesting. Was the other one more of a cook, or she was more into the cooking and like the housewife stuff with the cooking stuff?
The one who was a smoker?
No, the other one. The other one.
Yeah, they both.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Do you know if you have the cookbook or if the cookbook exists for the other one? Because she's showing me a book of recipes or a box of recipes.
That would be the one who is the smoker.
Okay, got it. That's okay. They're just crossing over each other. Also, they're showing me the Golden Girls. Do you know if there's a connection to one of the names? That would be like what? God, that would be Dorothy, Rose, Sophia. Do you know there's a connection to one of the names that is connected to the Golden Girls? Because she's showing me the Golden Girls.
I'll have to look.
Yeah, the other ones would be like Betty, or
Betty.
Okay, is that connected to one of them?
Is she showing you like that?
Well, yeah, because the Golden Girls. So when they show me the Golden Girls, that can take my head into two different directions. Because when they show me the Golden Girls, I automatically assume they must be talking about a name. So I first start with the fictional character names, which would be like Dorothy or Blanche or the Sophia and but Rose. But then the actual characters, the people's names, Betty and B. Arthur and So is there a connection to the names?
Betty's her sister.
Got it. She's just probably trying to acknowledge her sister and wanting to make reference to her. She's acting like the Golden Girls with her sister, so there's almost a reference there. She also says she wants you to thank you. Did you fall and skim your knee, or did you fall and hit your knee? Because she's wanting you to be careful with your walking, or be careful with your knee. And I think she's actually talking about you specifically. So I don't know if you had an injury with that knee, or there was something going on and you fell and skimmed, but she's wanting you to be careful. Now, here's what I'm going to say. If it hasn't happened yet, today, tomorrow, Watch where you're walking, because if she's trying to acknowledge that, then that may be it. The only other misinterpretation of that would be she's talking about her own knee, and that was what was the issue for her, is that she was having some issues with one of her knees, needed a replacement, never happened. But there's a reference to a knee issue or a skin knee, so she's just acknowledging that. They're around you. They're around you.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I ask you another question? Mm-hmm. Do you see more children in my future?
You sure you want to know the answer to that?
Yes.
I see 4 children in your future. So,
you
how many do you? I said that before?
Oh my gosh, I just wanted to confirm.
Okay, because that's a lot, because I'm seeing 4. So, if I said that before, then you already have 2, so probably 2 more. So, be prepared.
Okay. So, hopefully after a wedding.
Hopefully, yeah, hopefully. I mean, you know, who knows? Maybe they'll outlaw marriages in the future. I don't know, but hopefully.
Thank you, Ferny. I hope grandparents are there with me when.
Yeah, you're good, sweetheart. They're with you.
Thank you so much. You're amazing.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Bye, sweetheart. All right, guys, I am done. I'm out of time. So I thank you so much for tuning in. I will be back here on Friday, same time, same place. And where I'm about to get off. When I get back on, it's not because I'm answering questions again. It's because we're doing our study group. So just FYI, guys, okay? All right, y'all. Take care. Bye.